So, hello, everybody. Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to Webcast Wednesday from Exclusive Networks. As you know, the topic is from the cloud to security solution bundles. Fortinet has the SMB covered, and we have Christian Post here from Fortinet who will be going more in detail about this. So I'd like to first introduce Exclusive Networks USA, talk about our vendors as well as our services, as well as any other information. Then I'm going to pass the slides to Christian Postier, who's going to go more in detail about today's webinar topic. Then we'll have some time for Q&A, which you have the chance to ask, both technical or non-technical questions or anything related to Fortinet. And at the end, I have all your information, all your names and emails, and I'll be doing a raffle ticket from Random Picker, and 2 people will be winning the Amazon gift card. So I'll be showcasing who will win. And after that, I'll follow up with whoever wins through email. So these are our current, so for those of you who don't know Exclusive Networks is we accelerate market entry and growth for the innovative cybersecurity, networking and infrastructure technologies, as this makes us the go-through for market-leading technologies and reseller partners. These are currently our vendors that we work with. And some of the services that we provide are inventory, financing, we have flexible payment methods, sales support, marketing support, marketing campaigns that I currently work on, which include webinars, email marketing, strategy, digital marketing, analytics, pretty much anything marketing related, as well as technical services. So as you guys know, the topic for today is from the cloud to security solution bundles. Fortinet has the SMB covered. Fortinet is a leader when it comes to delivering network security solutions for small and mid-sized businesses. So learn the benefits of how FortiCloud simplifies provisioning, management, analytics, and is better than competitive solutions through features such as zero-touch deployment. Solution bundles for SMBs, making it easier to sell and to acquire security solutions. And the Cyber Threat Assessment Program, also known as the CTAP, making it fast and simple for SMBs to analyze their current security posture, determining potential risk, and identify what gaps need to be filled. So I'm going to now pass it on to Christian Postier, who's currently the systems engineer, and he'll go more in detail about these topics.
Good morning, everybody. Let me just start sharing my screen here. All right, Nick, does that look good?
Yeah.
Everybody's seeing? All right. So I just threw up a threat map here. So I'm going to kind of stay away from, I appreciate that, Nick. Thanks, everybody. Good morning and good afternoon, depending on where you are, everyone. I'm going to kind of stay away from the PowerPoint here. Don't want to bore you too much. So we'll just kind of go through a couple of tabs. We won't be very long this morning. I'm just going to kind of go over some things, probably that you've already heard. Maybe you pick up some new things here and there, but we're just going to kind of talk about FortiCloud, the advantage of that over some of our competitors, and how it relates and sells in the SMB market. So, of course, we'll go over kind of our SMB bundles as well in the CTAP program. So starting with FortiCloud, this was in the beginning, more of a, I would say, a log retention alternative to not only having the logs on the FortiGate itself, but we had this real nice product called FortiAnalyzer. We still have FortiAnalyzer, but if you didn't want to spring for a FortiAnalyzer, you did have this option of having, I think it was a 1 gig was the beginning of how many logs you could store up in FortiCloud for free. It was a free option. So you could just sign up to FortiCloud, and you would also get what was called just limited reporting in FortiCloud, a summary report. So just really one nice all-encompassing report for your logs and your FortiGate. So it was a free version. It's still pretty nice to get that. But now we've moved into, I'm not just saying some other vendors, the Meraki's of the world. Everybody loves to do cloud management. So we moved that way. Well, we moved our access points and our FortiGates to be able to be managed via FortiCloud now. So it's actually really matured since its beginning, and we're just moving more devices to be able to be managed. But what's cool about us compared to the competition is that we can not only manage our FortiGates and our APs from FortiCloud, but we can manage them locally as well. We still have CLI access. So you can actually get in there and do some awesome debugs, look at actual moving traffic. There's just a lot of management options, and FortiCloud is just another option for customers. And what's really cool is now all of our FortiGates and Forti access points are shipped with this little line on them, this little line of code. It's just a tiny 10-digit string of numbers that you can type in right into FortiCloud and manage it. So you can plug a FortiGate or FortiAP directly into a WAN port that will reach back to FortiCloud, and you can manage it right from there. You don't even have to enter the box at all. So you can manage those devices right there. And now what's cool is something called zero-touch deployment. We call it FortiDeploy. And what FortiDeploy is a SKU you add on to a purchase order. So if you guys are purchasing from exclusive networks, you have anywhere between 2 FortiGates and 200 FortiGates. Doesn't matter how many. You just have to add this FortiDeploy SKU one time to that purchase order. And what it's going to do is, let's say you're upgrading, 10 locations that were either older FortiGates or maybe they were Cisco or some other device, and you could drop ship those FortiGates directly to that location. And if you added this FortiDeploy SKU to that purchase order, all of those FortiGates are in your FortiCloud account now. So you import the key, and it has all those serial numbers already on your FortiCloud account. You just go to your FortiCloud and you look at your inventory, and all these FortiGates will be listed that you can click on. And so as soon as they plug them into the WAN port, they become active. Now this isn't, just because they don't have a username and password set doesn't mean they're open. On the WAN port, everything's turned off by default, so no one can actually get into them. It's not a big security risk. What they do is they go back, they talk to FortiCloud, they show up on here, and then you can go set a password, set the rest of the configuration, and that's why we call it zero touch, right? Because you never even had to touch that piece of hardware. So that's called our FortiDeploy SKU. Great option just to be able to drop ship units. And like I said, you just have to add the SKU once, and it's very well priced. You'll see it in the price list. But it's the same price whether you're doing 200 FortiGates or just 20 FortiGates. All of them can be added to your FortiCloud account. And they call that the zero-touch deployment model, and they call it FortiDeploy. So check that out in the FortiCloud. So FortiCloud, again, it can manage our FortiGates, and it's going to have log retention, and it's going to have the management of the box, as well as some sandboxing thrown in. Now, it's more of a get you into a flavor of sandbox. Now, it's not necessarily a full-on sandbox. We do offer that as a product. What's cool about our sandbox is we can have the FortiGate send its files to it, FortiMail, FortiWeb, FortiClient. A lot of our products can send its files to our FortiSandbox, and you just need one unit to receive all those files. And it can do scanning a lot faster than the cloud. But it does give you a flavor of sandbox. You can still do on-demand, so you can actually upload files that you have that you're not sure about to scan. Of course, you have all your regular data files that just getting from the FortiGate right here from FortiCloud. So some other cool features of FortiCloud that you guys may find useful as a partner. One is called multi-tenancy. Now with the multi-tenancy, basically you guys add a single license And if you're managing multiple FortiGates for different customers, you can have them all showing in your FortiCloud account. So all of your customers A, B, and C are showing, and you can create read-only accounts for those customers. So they can still get into their FortiGate. They won't see all the other FortiGates listed. And if you want, you can have them access multiple FortiGates. You just kind of pick which ones that user account has access to. And then they're read-only accounts, so they can still get in and generate a report, take a look at their logs, see what's going on with their own environment. But you have the power to manage all the different FortiGates that you manage for all your different customers. And they call that the multi-tenancy. Now, you will need to add a license to your own partner FortiCloud account if you want to be able to do that. Now, we also have something that can get even a little more above that. It's almost like a FortiManager in the cloud. We call this FortiPortal. Now, I don't want to go too much into FortiPortal today, but it is a very advanced version of FortiCloud for MSSPs. So if you guys do get to that much bigger level and you want to look at that, we do have an option for that. We call it FortiPortal, but we really won't go into FortiPortal today. Now, let's say you guys are as a partner, you aren't technical at all, but you are an awesome salesman, and you just want to sell it and not have to think about it. I mean, let us do the legwork. I always tell you guys that. Utilize us, utilize Exclusive Networks. They have great salespeople. They have great engineers on staff that can help size and help deploy these models. So utilize us. But let's say you don't have anything, you don't even have your own IT staff as a partner, or they're really tied up. You can actually add a SKU. You'll see it in basically on the last line of the price list of every FortiGate. You see something called FortiCare 360. And what that is almost, I don't want to touch it. I want to sell FortiGate and let Fortinet deal with the customer. And it's just an extra line of support. Now, you're still going to have to sell those services, whether they want the UTM bundle or the enterprise bundle. The FortiCare 360, I mean, just I think for a 60E, the list price is like an extra $200. And it's definitely worth it because what it is basically is a priority support from Fortinet that helps them do the initial setup, ongoing maintenance. You can kind of see some of the options here that they get. They also get auditing done, reporting. So Fortinet basically helps them along. Fortinet's not going to call the partner and be like, why aren't you doing this? I mean, this is a service exclusively for that customer that buys a FortiGate. So and for $200 for a 60E, that can really free up maybe an engineer not having to go to some location that's a little bit further out, to have to waste his time setting up, doing the initial setup, doing reporting. I mean, you get a lot out of this FortiCare 360. So be sure to check that out on the SKU lines on each FortiGate. You find it pretty much on the last line of each FortiGate in the price list. So if you guys are wondering, it's a SKU number. You'll see it on the last line. It's called FortiCare 360. So just an additional SKU you can add to the purchase order for support. So there's even best practice guidance on there, device monitoring. So it's just a really good new service that Fortinet does that you can tack on to each FortiGate. And it's almost hands-off from you, right? So you just sell them onto the next customer. So, and that is, of course, our FortiCare 360. The next thing I'm going to kind of go over, guys, is the SMB bundles and how to take advantage of these. The SMB, the little pop-up, I can't reach. There we go. Put that back up. All right. So we have 3 SMB bundles, the small, medium, large. And a lot of people wonder why we always, what's so good about the 60E? It's a very popular model that's been around. The 60 and the 90 was so popular and so successful for us and very reliable. Now the 60E model, Edward, as well as the 61, has this new chip in it. It's the smallest model with the SoC3 chip in it. This is a new ASIC by Fortinet that is got some blazing speeds on it. Why that's important, everyone's like, oh, why is that so important? Because when you start turning stuff on, when you start turning on the antivirus, you start turning on SSL inspection, application control, whereas a CPU, you start turning on, all that, it's going to slow it down. Whereas this is ASIC, you're not going to kill that throughput. There is a lot of throughput you can still have with everything turned on. And we want to make sure you don't bottleneck your main connection, because kind of that's what's going on in these, in the last couple of years, is the bandwidth has increased just dramatically, right? Everybody's getting more and more bandwidth, and you don't want to bottleneck those connections. So we do have a little sizing guide. You can see all this from the partner portal. Again, I always tell everyone, the partner portal is your jumping stone to everything via Fortinet. Got logged out here, one sec. Once you log into the partner portal, always check out the promotions, and that's where you can see the SMB bundles. And you can click and check out that data sheet. So the 60E does have that SoC3 chip, very fast for its price. And they're going to be good for the next 2 or 3 years, I think, with that. And this bundle does include a 60E. It also includes this Forti switch and an access point. So, sorry about that. And the medium bundle jumps up to a 100E, and then a 124E PoE switch, and a FortiAP 321C. And then, of course, the large is the same switch, but 2 of those access points, and, of course, the 200E. So, a little bit different sizes for you guys to check out. And then we do have a little sizing guide over here. Now, this is always going to, each customer is unique. There could only be 2 people there, but they're hosting a website that, has thousands of visitors daily, and they have massive bandwidth. So, you always have different things to consider. And like I said, Exclusive has great, people to help size these. They have their own engineers and their salespeople that can help. So be sure to email or utilize us, myself as well, to help size if you guys need it. One thing that's cool about the 60E and being ASIC based is, instead of CPU based, I have a cool little screenshot here. ASICs versus CPU are so much cheaper to manufacture. You can kind of see a difference there. Sorry about that. So you can kind of see the processor here. They're much more power hungry. So they're going to use a lot more power. And especially some of these other firewalls, they'll have multiple CPUs. And, multiple taking those different power is going to be very power hungry compared to CPUs. And look at the cost difference here. Now, CPU is great, right? But I don't, it's great at running Photoshop and PowerPoint and running games, but I don't do that at a firewall. I need it to do SSL inspection. I need it to do application control. So that's what Fortinet does. It specifically builds these ASICs to do just that. It doesn't need to do Photoshop. So we can have multiple CPUs and really keep our costs down compared to the competition. Now our competition, you are seeing, they are moving to ASICs. We've been doing ASICs since the beginning of the company. Even before Fortinet was Fortinet in NetScreen days, it was always ASIC based. So we are so far ahead in that game and have some of the most advanced ASICs out there that the price and the power is just so much more, especially if you look at our latest generation compared to the competition. So just bring up SSL inspection to another company and they'll move away from that conversation very fast. But they say by the end of this year, everything's moving. The web's going to be 80 to 90% all HTTPS. So you definitely have to look at that traffic. All right, so back into these SMB bundles. What's great is, if you can see here, until December 31st, basically these bundles are more than 45% off. So they are very heavily discounted. That's what's so great about putting these together. And you can maybe get a better price than going with a smaller FortiGate. So be sure to check these out. see if they're going to be good for your guys' clients, and utilize them while you can. They're going to be different SKUs for each distributor. I don't understand some of the naming scheme. It looks like Exclusive has the only smart naming scheme here, the Fortinet SMB bundle, small, medium, large. If you are using any of these other people, it's pretty confusing. But anyway, those are the SKU numbers to use with them. Utilize them while you can. And again, always check out the promotions on the Fortinet Partner Portal. Of course, right now it's going to be talking about the SMB bundles, but we have some other cool stuff there. Of course, the CTAP, which I'm about to go into, is still going on. The security fabric. This is still showing a lot of the Q2 stuff, so this may get updated here in the next couple of weeks for the Q3. So always keep an eye on promotions and utilize this stuff while you can. Don't go out there and just be selling and not getting rewarded for it. All right. Another thing for your small business is, this little share thing keeps getting in my way. If you're selling to them, is the FortiExtender. This is great for any of those retail locations. We have this new model, the 40D. And it's really cool. It can actually take the SIM card directly into the FortiExtender. So this does enable that 4G, 3G access to anywhere that has a spotty internet connection. You can actually use the FortiExtender as your main WAN connection. So great for anyone that's got a real slow DSL out in the middle of nowhere. They can utilize 4G, 3G, LTE signal and get up to 100 meg to the FortiGate. So that's another option for you guys, and they call that the FortiExtender. Now, the older ones would take the USB 3G, 4G model USB directly into the device, and you would just have to get that approved modem, which we pretty much have one for each one of the Sprint, Verizon, T-Mobile. But now this new 40D model can take the multiple SIM cards directly into the unit. So you just have to get that SIM card, got the built-in radios already, and you could put that, out by a window or up on the ceiling, somewhere where it has great connection to a cell service, and use that as a backup or main WAN connection. So great for any of those retail chains or customers you have that may not have such a great WAN connection. That's about it on the SMB bundles. Again, we're going to now kind of move over to the CTAP part of the conversation. I always bring this up with the partner calls. I know you guys probably get sick of me talking about it, but I want you to take advantage of it and really utilize it while it's still got the incentive going on right now. And that's $250 for each CTAP that you do. So that's still going on into Q3. So be sure to use it. Again, when you log into the partner portal, you'll see that little CTAP. Let me go back. Acronym right there, the Cyber Threat Assessment Program. Click that, and it'll take you to this CTAP portal. Once you log into the portal, it's the same credentials as your partner account. So you'll see your dashboard. This looks a little confusing, right? I want to know, what the heck is CTAP? You can always go to the help and downloads here. And this will talk to you all about the CTAP. It'll have the overview video, the training video of how to use the portal, sales playbook, presentation, and then even the sample report down here. But what's nice about this quarter is that it does run on a 60E model now. In the past, it would only run on 100D and 300D and 1500D FortiGate. So now it runs on the 60E. So if you guys want to do an NFR, a lab use, not for resale 60E model, you guys can purchase one from Exclusive Networks, and they do have it. They do have it available through Exclusive for rent. If you guys just want to not purchase one, but you want to utilize them, they do have some 60Es set aside for CTAP and 100Ds and 300Ds as well. If you have a larger enterprise or school that requires more bandwidth, you can actually send those units directly to the customer and utilize Exclusive for that. But those are available if you need to. But if not, you can purchase one yourself for NFR pricing, which if you do one CTAP unit for a customer, that should pay for it. And definitely utilize the different industry types when you do a new assessment. I don't think you see this drop-down list, but there are about 15 different industries. that you can choose from, and it caters the report towards that type of industry. So if you were to choose healthcare, it would go into HIPAA compliance and how HIPAA violations can really cost you a lot. It can go into PCI compliance when you choose banking or retail, and things like that. And then education, the Kids Protection Act, things like that. So really utilize why this spiff is going on and get paid for this thing. It's a great tool. We have some partners that already charge for pen testing, and they can, I think, I don't even know what they're charging for the CTAP, but that's just another tool in their tool bag when they go out and they pen test these companies. They're already charging them for that, and they get paid that $250 spiff. So some really cool stuff for that. So a couple of questions I saw come in: does FortiCloud replace FortiManager? It does not. FortiManager is still a great product that, especially if you're a company that has multiple FortiGates, it is much more advanced. FortiCloud is more of a taste and an option just for people that don't have either the funds for FortiManager or something like that. They still, companies that have multiple FortiGates, FortiManager is a must. They would hate FortiCloud. They only really get a taste. And like I said, with FortiCloud's analyzing just that one summer report, FortiAnalyzer is a much more advanced SQL database of all of its logs. It has multiple data sets and all these SQL queries it can do. The reporting is almost unlimited. You have way more advanced reporting with FortiAnalyzer. So FortiAnalyzer and FortiManager is the specialized products for the management and the logs. So you're going to get a lot more out of those products, like I said. But FortiCloud is really just kind of, it's just there for people that don't really have the budget and they still want to be able to manage multiple FortiGates, but don't have the price for a FortiManager. So back into the CTAP, utilize this. And if you guys need any help getting those units, again, Howard with Exclusive can send you a quote over for some new 60Es. If you guys want to utilize those, I would recommend having multiple 60Es and just have them out at different customers. Have those things out doing logs all day. We recommend about 3 to 5 business days worth of logs, just so that report doesn't look empty. And I've never seen a report that isn't quite dirty. People are always downloading stuff, and not necessarily it's super evil, but it is, sending your personal information, your browsing history, all the history of what you're doing on the web, off to these marketing and websites. So definitely check that out. Other than that, I think that is all. Let me go back to my sheet here just to make sure I've kind of covered everything I wanted to today. That looked like some of the questions. If you guys do have any questions, there is a little Q&A question tab there. I unfortunately can't hear you guys to answer, but you can ask your questions in the Q&A tab of this Zoom program, and I can answer them now. If not, I'll turn it back over to Nick, and he can sum up and give away those Amazon gift cards that I know you guys are probably waiting for me to finish, so you can find out if you won that or not. But again, any questions, Exclusive and myself, Mary, we're all here to answer them. And I appreciate you guys taking some time out of your Wednesday here to jump on this. And Nick, if you're still there.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Christian. It was a wonderful presentation. And yeah, so I'm gonna, I've entered everybody on the random picker, and I'm gonna share the screen right now. So. These are, there's 2 gift cards available, so let's see who wins. So 2 people who won are Stephen Houston and Mary. Oh, congratulations. And I will be emailing the Amazon gift cards.
Yeah, we may want to, are you able to do that one more time? I don't think Mary's allowed to win the Amazon gift card. We may have to.
It might take some time. I can yeah, maybe I can do it after.
We may do that one again offline, guys.
But sure,
So if you don't see yourself,
I'll definitely give it to Stephen Houston, and the other one I'll be doing another one, just because it might take a few. Yeah, but I'll email whoever won. And and I'm just gonna. Okay, well, if you have any other questions, this is our sales and marketing team. And feel free to contact anybody from Exclusive Networks. And thank you so much for attending.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Be sure to email us with any questions, or Howard, Nick, Mary, or myself, and we'll answer them as soon as we can. Thanks, everybody.
Sure. Thank you.